Welcome to Foundling Fridays presented by Cut the Sith. Today's episode of The Mandalorian, we're all very excited to get into it, is, hold on, I didn't actually remember this one off the top of my head, so I do have it written down. Season 2, Episode 6, Chapter 14, The Tragedy. Spoilers from this point onward and upward. So, yeah, watch after you've watched the episode, obviously. Because in 3, 2, 1, guys, Bill Burr is coming back next week. How pumped are we? Steve?
I'm glad that was your takeaway from this episode. Fucking Bill Burr is coming back next week.
I agree with you, Steve.
Well,
But that was a nice little add-in at the end. Like, I like Bill Burr, but
I know.
Before I get to
like
the rest
it
of
really was a tragedy, guys. I was pissed. Pissed. You should have heard me screaming.
we have Kenobi filming in Boston. Bill Burr coming back. Space Boston exists. Sierra, how you doing?
I'm good.
Nice. Alex and Paige, or as Alex would like to be referred to, the Bobas.
Hello.
Ryan,
That is me.
you're excited for Bill Burr, aren't you?
Yeah, let's go with that.
All right, so guys, what do you think Mayfeld's been up to this whole time?
Wait, what about Steve?
Steve went first.
Oh,
Did
sorry.
go first. Hi, everybody. That's
Is he in prison?
Yes. What do we think he's been doing in prison this whole time? Conjugal
Roman.
visits, maybe?
No.
Conjugals with who?
Deveronian guy?
Oh,
No, he's probably just been,
Practicing the stand-up. I get it.
you know, maybe like the leader of like the prison gang. I don't know.
I'd be really keen to see some stand-up in the Star Wars universe, honestly.
And everyone's favorite character? Is it Fennec Shan?
Ugh.
Is that how it's pronounced?
I see what you're
I'm
doing.
glad she's not dead. I
The
love her
other.
steel stomach.
He was just like the second biggest comeback of this episode besides Mayfeld. It was
I
Fennec
wish I
Shan.
could see a badass lady.
Mhm.
What do you guys think she's been doing since season 1?
Hanging out with
Boba's
this-
bitch.
Hanging out with this guy that found her in the desert.
No,
I
we
guess.
can get to that person later. He's not that important to the plot of this episode.
Okay. The third
So-
most important thing that happened in this episode was the Dark Troopers finally got revealed.
Steve, thank you. That's exactly where I was going.
I see. When you work together long enough on podcasts and stuff like that, like you start to really understand how the other guy starts to think.
I would have put the Dr. Is it Pershing?
Yes.
Pershing.
I would have put his name drop as number 3, but we didn't get an actual face reveal of him, so he's at 4.
Well, we know what he looks like. He's been around. But
The 137th most important thing that happened this episode is on Steve's hoodie right now.
yeah,
The return of Boba Fett.
my guy Boba Fett. hmm
You mean the absolute fucking onslaught?
Oh my god, that staff.
Kidding me?
That was pretty dope.
Now,
Mhm.
I've
Very.
hated Boba Fett for years. I
This is
thought
my
he was
first
overrated.
encounter.
I thought he was overrated. Because here's the thing with Boba Fett. You want to like him because he has cool, badass armor.
Hmm.
But he says 2 words and then he gets hip checked by a blind dude and that's it. He's done.
Yeah.
And I know the EU, which is now Legends, there was all this cool stories about him. I didn't read those, and those aren't canon, so those don't count. So all we really have of this man is him getting hip checked by a blind dude, and his armor getting stolen by Jawas.
Well,
Yeah.
No, didn't he get
Hey.
eaten?
Clone Wars.
Wasn't he
Yeah,
bit?
we did have Clone Wars him as a young kid failing to assassinate Mace Windu.
There was
Would have saved
his
Anakin's life.
appearance in the Star Wars Marvel comic where he got beaten up by a second blind man. So
Ryan, Star Troopers at Hollywood Studios and Disney World canon.
Yes.
So he gets one shot by R2-D2 during Star Troopers. Star Tours.
Yes.
So speaking of the Dark Troopers, it took me a second to realize that they were robots, and droids. I apologize. It took me a second because I was like, wait, I thought they were real, maybe force-sensitive people in there, but I guess not.
Oh.
They're just very powerful droids.
Okay.
I do like how they showed up grabbed the kid, did literally nothing else.
They
They're saving their
gave
ass kicking for
me
a reason.
Art.
very, very strong, like Nazgul ring wraith type vibes when they were descending on the mountain like that.
Very Iron Man vibes.
Hmm
Mhm.
Why is his ship called the Slave One? Boba Fett's?
I don't know why the canon reason is for that. Not sure. I mean, it was what Django would call it, but
I don't know, because
We skipped to, I thought of Sierra because of that Queel-looking guy.
I love Quill, but who looked like him?
What didn't one of the?
No.
Oh shit! I'm sorry. I've watched like 20 episodes of Rebels in the last 2 days, so I'm confusing things.
It's okay. I'm like, ooh.
listen,
Sorry,
it's always a good excuse to bring up Rebels. But I gotta say,
my brain.
getting back to my point about Boba Fett,
Yeah.
he totally redeemed himself. He was such a badass this episode. I was like, finally,
Yeah.
you're finally the man I've wanted you to be. You know what he did? He lived up
That
to
takes a
my
lot for you to admit.
I know.
Yeah.
He lived
just
up to my
thinks-
expectations.
I thought he was dead this whole time. The hell? It's like no one's really dies in Star Wars.
The other thing that I want to point out is that they officially cleared the air on if Django
Yep.
was Mandalorian.
yeah.
Unless
Mhm.
Django lied.
It's been
Almec
like
definitely lied.
across all media,
Oh
it's
my
been
God,
like back and
absolutely.
forth.
Uh, there's like interviews with Filoni and Lucas both saying they're not Mandalorians, but they
Favreau just drops the bomb here.
and I
Yeah.
sent a video to Steve that I watched from Star Wars Explained, greatest Star Wars YouTube channel. Ours is
Apart from Mars, yeah.
I'm gonna be humble. Ours is top 25.
Oh, okay. That's humble.
His is number one. Him and his wife, because they both do it together. But he was reviewing the episode, and he was talking about that scene from Clone Wars. For if you hadn't seen Clone Wars, the reason why people in canon, in the Disney, I don't know how it was for Legends, but in the Disney canon right now, the reason people believe that Django and Boba Fett weren't Mandalorians because Almec from Mandalore, who's this big dick fucking politician, claimed that Django wasn't a Mandalorian and stole the armor. Now, we have proof that he's a foundling. It's in his chain code. So he is a Mandalorian. He was a foundling. This isn't like fact or anything, but this is just a theory that was put out by Star Wars Explained in his video about how it could be that Almec was just like looking down on the foundling because Almec is born and raised on Mandalore. So he's just being like some elitish douchebag looking his nose down at the foundlings, being like, oh, Django's not a real Mandalorian. And that could be the reason why for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's a Mandalorian. So
One
is
thing I
Boba.
did
Well,
like
Boba's
about-
not, because Boba never took the creed. But Django is a Mandalorian.
Yes.
So Boba's still not one.
It is remarkable how this one character's design and aesthetic and everything, like just this one standalone character in Empire Strikes Back, sparked an entire planet and an entire culture full of people, and he's not even technically among them as part of the population.
That is messed up.
You got the ball rolling. That's all that matters.
Mhm.
Well, it's like Boba's character is kind of like it's like a perfect Greek tragedy. It's like I'm gonna go
A
ahead and
tragedy, some would say.
yes, I did a tragedy.
The
Tragedy of Boba. The
Chapter
tragedy
14,
of Boba the
the
Wise.
tragedy.
Oh,
I thought that the real tragedy was of Darth Plagueis the Wise, but
That's where I thought he was going with it too.
that's not a
The
tale.
name of the episode was the tragedy.
I wasn't thinking about that, but I feel like Boba's like a perfect Greek tragedy, and I feel like in the next 2 episodes he's gonna die, like die for real.
That would be so mean to bring him back and tell. If by the way,
I'd
I'm
get
saying this right now,
so mad if they
if he
brought him
dies
back
to rail,
after 40 years.
he's
Yeah.
no longer badass to me.
Yeah.
If they brought him back after 40 years and they fucking kill him again and give
Fuck
him
that.
like, the Captain Phasma treatment, no.
He's gonna die and pass his armor onto Cobb Vanth, and it's just gonna go back to where it was at the beginning. Of the
Stop it.
season.
Stop it,
I mean, I
Colin.
did
don't
kind of
wanna
have
hear
that Jeff vibe when he was kind of clawing up towards the cruiser
ship. Yeah.
ship. I was like, oh no, like he's going down. And I was like, this is it. One episode, that's all. I did like though how he just took his armor, like did not wait for like permission, anything. He just shows up with it on, like
Well, it's his
Must
fucking
be
armor.
there.
I know.
Much as I
I
never
was just
liked the
surprised.
guy.
I was like, oh okay, all right.
Din is walking around with stolen goods.
Mhm.
Also,
That's before.
Din needs
I'm-
to like fucking relax and stop
Why?
trying to like get into no.
Yeah.
It's Boba's armor. Boba doesn't want to fight him. Boba actually wants to talk.
Oh, in regards to
He's
the
like
armor,
straight
yeah.
up threatening him and stuff, talking about how he's a fucking killer. It's like chill out and have a conversation with that. The guy's clearly not coming at you very hostile. You have something that very much belongs to him. He shows him the proof at the end of the episode. If you just fucking talk to the guy, he could have showed you the proof at the beginning if like all these little fucking stormtroopers didn't come. He does the
And-
same shit with Bo-Katan when the friggin' with her like
When
accused
she
her
takes
not
her
being-
helmet off.
Yeah, it's like relax and have a conversation because your little cult is clearly in the minority when it comes to Mandalorians.
Well, that standoff also cost him
Mhm.
because he took his jetpack off.
Yes, that's what I was gonna say. Like that jetpack comment, I was like, I don't like this. Something's going down.
It's a plot device.
You know, this is a plot device. His stupid fucking armor.
How did Boba find him?
He's been
Hmm.
tracking him, which is like weird because why did it wait so long for you to catch up to him?
Also,
How did
if
Moff find them?
Yeah, but because of the octopus people.
Yeah, they
Tracking.
put a so
But Boba
Gideon put
found
a
him
track in
without
there,
it,
and
a
Boba
tracking
also tracked
device.
him. Boba's just good.
Oh,
so my question,
Biggest
and
Boba fan.
maybe the rest of you can regale me on this, is if Boba Fett knew that Cobb Vanth had his armor, what stopped him from going after Cobb in the first place? Why wait
don't
until after the
know.
Mandalorian took the armor and then go after him on another planet? Like, I guess I was talking about it with my fiance. Like, maybe he tried going after Cobb and it did not work out. So now he's like, oh, okay, some other guy has the armor now, and he also is Mandalorian, or he wears Mandalorian armor. Maybe he will be more approachable. Like,
Yeah.
and why he went in there, like, obviously with some stipulations to be like, hey, just to make sure that you don't go hostile on me, but now let's actually talk. And Colin, you'd mentioned this earlier when we were talking about the episode, but you'd mentioned that you liked that there was not a hostile air about Boba or Fennec, and that they were not antagonistic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were cool the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, cause have you read the Bounty Hunters comic at all? That's out right now with Star Wars. It takes place before Boba goes on Sarlacc pick. He's a dickhead.
Mm-hmm.
He is written completely different in this. Like he's kind of cool and
He's
chilled,
mellowed out. Yeah.
and he has honor. Where like before he literally just cared about money. He was gonna do whatever for the fucking bounty. And now it's like no, the man's working by honor, by a code, and that's why. Because I've been thinking of the Cobb Vanth thing too. Because I'm hoping they bring Cobb Vanth in so we can actually get an explanation on why he didn't take the armor. Because he knew his name. Because that's the thing too. He knows his name.
Mm-hmm.
So then it's like, yeah, you knew the guy's name, you knew he had it the whole time, but you waited till the other Mandalorian got it. The only thing I can think of is because he could have taken that easily, because that whole town, they suck.
Mm-hmm.
He could have wiped them all out, but he's a changed man. He didn't want to kill anyone. So I don't think he wanted to kill Cobb Vanth. He knew he would have had to take the armor. That's the only,
Maybe he
the
saw
only
that
thing
he
I
was
can think of.
using it for good.
It could be
Yeah.
that too, because he was using it to protect the town. And now
Yeah.
Boba's like this night, like Boba's like Shawn Michaels after he broke his back. Born again, no longer a. Cause Shawn Michaels was a young dickhead in the 90s, and then he became like a born again Christian, was just a super cool guy. Boba Fett's like a born again like Mandalorian.
Mm-hmm.
I guess you could kind of say the same thing about Fennec then, because she seems a little more, you know, I don't want to kill you for money, you know, after he saved her in the desert. And speaking of her, I really liked that like laying down jump she did to shoot people off the cliff. That was cool.
I'm excited for the new trio. I want to see them.
Mhm.
No.
Oh, yeah,
Honestly, it's a little bit of
back.
it's a bit of an upgrade. So
Yeah. From
oh, you think
the other trio.
Boba Fett's an upgrade over Grief Karga?
over Baby Yoda. I mean,
Aww.
Steve was so
Yeah.
excited when Baby Yoda got kidnapped.
Well, because I knew Gideon was gonna, be all evil and whatnot.
I can't
It's gonna
stand
happen
him.
like the season finale. The cliffhanger was gonna be like literally the scene of him being kidnapped. But it looks like I assume they're just gonna get him back before the season ends.
The
No,
way he
but, like,
taunts him with the saber.
Oh, I thought he was
It-
doing that in a friendly way, like, hey, this is a kid, so I'm gonna treat him like a kid. I'm like, hey, you want to play?
He
with
was
me?"
acting like a kid.
It was legit like watching the one human villain character in a Muppet movie interacting with like the Muppet character, and I really loved that sort of like scene chewing energy that Giancarlo Esposito brought to that moment. It was just I was here for it. I
He
loved
was
it.
like,
I mean, everyone lets little kids play with their swords.
The dude's 50, okay? He's not a baby.
Yeah. I have a
Species
note in my
age
thing.
differently.
I have a note that says "F you, Moff."
Oh!
Wow. Scorcher of a take page.
I was
Oh,
like,
man.
you know what? I'm done with this guy. Like, F you. I'm over it.
I thought it was hilarious. Like I wanted to be mad that whole time, but I was laughing from the moment.
was
the doors
funny.
opened and he's sitting there choking the both of them and throwing them around. I was like, "Oh, get out of here, you!" I was
They
like,
were playing a little bit of
Or
that
choking them.
Kylo Ren theme, yeah, when he was doing the joke.
He's like full teetering to the dark side.
Mhm.
No, don't say that because the butterflies.
Oh, because they were around him.
Hmm.
No,
Yeah,
he's a bad baby. He ate those eggs.
he's
He ate
definitely
not
that
a
kid.
Bad baby.
a little bit of a tweener.
You
He-
sound like Moff right now, Steve.
Well, my whole
ate-
thing is,
no, he
does he
ate the
put the
kids
shackles on him?
If Din gets
macaroons.
killed in front of him, there'll be Force lightning coming out of those little.
Colin,
green
don't
hands.
breathe that into existence.
Stop.
Well, it's in my head now. It's
it's
there.
No.
it's here.
Din can't get killed because he's this stupid, impervious armor.
Colin, why do you hate him?
I don't
Literal
hate
plot
him. I hate
armor.
his fucking armor.
Okay,
It's
okay, I
too
like it.
It's
too
literally
strong.
plot armor.
It's way too
Yeah.
strong. He shouldn't be sitting there taking 15 shots to the chest like.
He was protecting her.
Well,
I know,
the
but
most
it's like at least show us some resistance. Like
the most amazing thing is the stormtroopers were actually hitting him.
they finally hit
Mhm.
something. Isn't it?
Hmm.
There's not even like scratches on his armor.
I didn't
I-
see any blood. Do stormtroopers
Mm-mm.
bleed?
They do. Yeah.
I didn't see any blood when
I
he
think
In The Force Awakens, one of them
smashed
bled.
his head. Smashed
Yeah.
one of the stormtroopers' head. I wanted to see blood, and I was like,
oh, he just Batmaned him. He just gave him a bit of a concussion.
no, it was smashed in.
Yeah, Batman would like turn guys into pretzels. I'm like, oh no, they're still alive.
Now
Remember,
talk.
Batman doesn't kill; he horribly maims.
Yeah, Batman kills you with the medical bills. You kill yourself.
I really, speaking of the stormtroopers, I really loved the fight choreography. I really loved the one stormtrooper captain with like the red pauldron doing his whole like Power Rangers, like get up there, go, like doing all his really goofy, exaggerated like Saturday morning cartoon motions. I was like, yes, this is great. I love
I
it.
love the Indiana Jones boulder. I was like,
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
That was good.
And let's not forget
You
that the
should've
guy in the
punched it.
turret is still shooting at it
Yes,
while
I
it's
thought that
rolling
was
toward
funny.
him.
well,
The shriek.
He has
Ryan, what would
didn't
you
hit him.
rather do? Run away or go out fighting?
Man
Uh,
versus Boulder.
run away,
Sidestep
live
that
to fight another day. Even though that's impossible.
Like, did he really think it was gonna like break in half or something? Like, because for a second, even I was
Yeah.
like, I don't know, is it gonna bust? And then I was like, nope, okay, good.
They did
He didn't
spend
even,
like
like,
the
chip
better
it,
part of 10 minutes shooting at it, and it didn't like falter.
That was some like wonky CGI on that boulder too, by the way.
Yeah.
I was like, that boulder looks super fake.
How do you guys feel about the force like energy beam going into the universe?
His super meditation when
That
he
was
was like,
cool. That
I
was
thought it
cute.
was sick, and how
Letting it out.
the like ground or the rock itself was kind of lit up a little bit. I liked that.
Mhm.
Like
I
wonder
the
who's gonna
shield
reach
power
first.
too
Hmm.
that he had.
who's gonna sense it?
Magic
Wow.
rock, as Din called it.
Kyle Katarn gonna show up at the very end to fight and join the Mandalorian.
It's gonna
Or
be
Ezra.
Windu. Mace Windu's gonna show up and Boba Fett's gonna be like,
I mean, I guess if you think about it, since he already sent out like his signal thing, somebody could find him on the ship. So maybe we get like a force sensitive user and Din like kind of showing up on the ship at the same time to save him.
I really wonder.
hope it's a
There's
dark
got to be a
side.
new character. Like, coming for him.
And then and then at the end, after Din and the Jedi character both save him, we get like an Airbud moment where he's between the both of them, and he has to pick out who he decides to go home with at the end of the season. Yeah.
Great.
That was, by the way, so adorable when he just calling his name to see him react. He's like,
So cute.
Love that.
A little laugh.
And the ball
Not
being
one of
like one of the only things left in the wreckage.
Steve didn't like that.
Sad.
Balls maybe best call? If it didn't get destroyed? Or that's just maybe an emotional
Steve
call?
doesn't think it makes sense for the ball to survive.
That's what I
mean,
just said.
I
You
don't
think the
disagree.
ball's best car?
I don't know.
I don't know, because it was part of the ship, wasn't it? It
Yes.
was like on one of the controls.
Yeah, you never know.
I mean, it is pre-Empire. We don't know what's in that ship.
Nothing anymore. So
Mm-hmm.
That broke my heart.
You think that
When I
Boba's
saw
going to
that.
give him the slaves too to replace the Razor Crest?
that would be wild if he
Oh
did.
my god, when that blew up, I
Yeah.
screamed.
She
I
went
felt
through a lot.
so bad.
I did
I
too.
laughed.
I think I woke my
You
fiance
laughed?
up when the ship
I
blew up.
laughed. Yeah, and by the way, she told you not to wake her up.
I know. I'm a bad fiance. So
I mean, it was a very intense scene.
It
How could you
was.
not scream?
My son started crying. He's like, okay, I'm crying. I'm
When the
crying.
ship blew up?
At that point. Yeah.
This reminds me of when I started crying when the Go of Mary died at One Piece.
What?
I was telling Steve about that.
the boat
an
in One
anime.
Piece got blown up.
It gets like straight up destroyed in like 300 and something chapters into One Piece. So we're talking 10 years maybe.
A lot of times I get attached to that ship. Yeah.
Oh, it was bad.
The rock formation, and I don't know if you guys watch, but it gave me very Outlander vibes. I don't know if you guys watch Outlander,
Never
but
seen.
there's a like kind of stony type thing in that as well that reminded me of it.
I was telling Steve this. So outside of last week's episode that Filoni wrote, Jon Favreau's written every episode this season, and but there's been a different director for every episode this season.
Yep.
And is it Robert Rodriguez,
Yes.
the director of the greatest quadrilogy of all time, Spy Kids?
Oh, yeah. I forget there's a fourth.
I never seen the fourth one. I just assume it's
No.
perfect because the first three are perfect movies.
Why would you assume that?
Me, Alex, Uncle Frankie saw the Spy Kids 3D at the old Lowe's Theater in Somerville, and you had to wear those terrible, shitty blue and red 3D
Yeah.
glasses.
hmm
And you had to like sit directly still because if you moved it all, the 3D fucked up. But no Danny Trejo cameo so far, unless he's one of those stormtroopers.
He could be one of the stormtroopers. I wouldn't count him out.
I was very upset he wasn't in this episode when I found out that Robert Rodriguez directed. I was like, come on.
If the one stormtrooper captain just like ripped off his helmet and revealed himself to be Danny Trejo, like
Long black flowing
Like,
hair.
they
you
could
would
have
have
did
lost
it
your
when
shit, Colin.
when she was looking through the prisoners before Mayfeld. Like it could have been like Danny Trejo's picture, and then it goes to like
Oh.
Mayfeld.
That would've been good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he could have
Come
flickered through.
on.
That's true. hmm
Give my man some Star Wars love.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to seeing him return. Sorry.
Mayfeld? How dare
No.
you?
I get it. I don't get it. I'm just like, listen, I love Bill Burr's comedy as much as the next person, but the character of Mayfield,
Mhm.
He's a huge dickhead.
Yeah,
Did they just bring
Like
him
us.
back because Bill Burr hates Star Wars? Is that why they brought him back just to?
maybe.
I mean, that's the only reason they offered him the role. Because he was like, I don't like Star Wars. I trash it all the time. Like, that's why it's perfect.
do you think he's just, do you think he's just been doing his shtick so long he's afraid to admit he actually does like Star Wars? Because, like, why would you agree to come back if you hated it so much?
I know.
You money-grubbing whore, you.
I
Was
guess
he
I just like him
converted?
better as Frank Murphy.
I would cosplay him in a heartbeat, but
I know you.
now
would.
that I've grown out my hair, I don't know if I want to shave it again.
Like I shaved my head before you did, and you have longer hair than me. It's not fair.
Yeah, you did, which
You
is kind
have-
of funny.
Very long hair.
Because you did yours in like March, and I did
I
mine
think
in
you did yours.
May or June.
No, I did mine in May, Mother's Day, and you did it.
Memorial Day
couple weeks
weekend.
after.
I did my Memorial Day weekend.
If I ever shaved my head, it would never grow back. Ever.
You-
Ever. This is the longest my hair has been in like 10 years.
oh,
So, who do you guys think
Fucking
is,
good.
who do you guys think is going to be the Force user to show up?
I want to go with Ezra still.
That's who I hope it is.
Yeah, that's who it's most likely going to be.
I do not want to see a de-aged Mark Hamill, and I don't care how much people want to fan cast him. I don't want to see Sebastian Stan as him. I don't want to
Stop
see 38-year-old Sebastian Stan as 28-year-old Luke Skywalker.
I like him.
But that's perfect high school age for movies.
I like Sebastian Stan.
Me too, but it's like,
Yeah.
come on. People are only casting him as it because they kind of look like each other in like a little face swap thing.
Yeah.
No, he's a good actor.
Sierra, who do you believe is going to be the Force user to show up?
I don't know. I don't know.
Do you know who you want it to be, or no?
don't have-
Just kind of here for the ride, like.
Yeah, I
wait to
just
see
want to
what
be
it is.
surprised.
Ryan,
You know what? I hope it's Leia.
I did say that a couple weeks ago. I said they could like do the whole daughter's body, Leia's face thing again.
And what if?
Hmm.
What is Leia doing in the New Republic at this point? Is she like?
if it's 5 years after Return of the Jedi, probably raising Ben Solo and doing like diplomatic senatorial stuff. I feel.
Have they found out that Vader's her dad yet?
No, because I
They
feel
wouldn't
like
have
that
mentioned
happened
it.
later on.
Okay. Because that's what screwed up her Senate career, right? Was when they found that out.
Well, Alex and I were reading an article about, like the possibilities, and I think Ezra was one. Not Yaddle, she was not on that, but I do give it to you that, babe, that it is a good theory. Cal Kestis was one. I think Quinlan Voss was another one. I forget the
Sadly, Joe Castanu is dead by this point.
Sadly,
Sadly, she's the one that saved Grogu.
no.
She put his little
Anakin.
ass in a book.
Listen, Anakin saved Grogu. Anakin spared him. That's my theory. That's my Star Wars theory.
You don't know Yaddle saved him.
Hmm.
It should be Anakin's Force Ghost that shows up.
Oh my God.
I was,
was another
really,
option.
really hoping to God that Anakin's Force Ghost would show up in this episode, and I'm
Mhm.
bummed that he didn't. But Boba Fett coming back was great, so
I feel you
that
on
makes
that,
up for
Steve.
the lack of Anakin content. There.
They've been teasing us way too much of bringing Anakin back ever
Yeah.
since Disney bought Star Wars, and it's like, listen, sometimes you're just gonna finish me off.
Con. He's a PG.
This is not PG at all.
Just kidding. No, I do agree with you, Steve, about the Force Ghost thing, because I really thought that would have been cool.
I'm gonna be so mad if it's Mace Windu, and I love Samuel L. Jackson.
No, it's not him.
Man.
How old would Mace Windu realistically be at this time? He was old.
He would have
old,
to be
he
in
can't
his.
get COVID. He's not going to be there.
He'd have to be in his 70s or his 80s or something like that at this point.
Yeah, that's not that bad with the Force. You can be able to stay alive. But it's like, come on. Although it is like, when I first saw the movie, I didn't think he died because I was like, he just fell out a window.
Why
Unless
couldn't
they
he
hadn't
Force
fell out a
Ghost Yoda?
window. I would fucking hate Force Ghost Yoda so
Yeah,
much.
I'm gonna say that's.
We never know. You're saying
goddamn
hello,
slave
son.
trader.
He'll just be like, hello, son.
Don't forget, guys.
It's a
Yoda came from
shame.
Slavery.
It's a shame that you didn't get to meet your mother, Yaddle.
you never know. Maybe now that Yoda is a Force ghost, he somehow being in the Force learned more about their species, and maybe we'll get some info. I don't know.
I like in Rise of the Skywalker how he's just full on insane.
I hope they do some sort of memory and like flashback with
Yeah.
Grogu. That's what I
Hanging out with
really want to see.
Anakin.
Mm-hmm.
Just when he left, like what happened, or who saved his life, and who moved him,
There's gonna be a flashback of him just throwing Anakin across the room after he kills all the kids.
or him
Don't
in
do
training.
that.
How
Or
cute!
Anakin's gonna be like actually struggling against the kids because it's the classic fight of can one T-Rex beat 10,000 chickens? Can Anakin kill like 50 Padawans at once? And he's gonna be struggling, and then Grogu's gonna like a classic hail turn. Is gonna just force get all those kids. And Anakin is gonna slicing through them as Grogu's holding them still with the Force. And then they're
Get
gonna
it out of your system. Go on.
and then Grogu's gonna
Mhm.
jump through the window that Mace Windu came through and was like, "Shoo-doo-doo-doo-doo." And he's gonna hide that way.
alternately, Colin, perhaps it's, fuck, now I forgot what I was going to say.
Oh my god.
Perhaps it's Anakin was so sad, saying like, yeah, I killed them all, because really he left one out and he's crying because he really is good, maybe deep down.
I feel like he would have struggled more against Grogu than against, the rest of the younglings, because Grogu, even though he is the oldest of the younglings, is the closest to a baby. And given that he was about to become a father, I feel like that is a moment where he genuinely would have struggled or potentially might have been like, well, he's just a baby. Like, how much harm can he really do? And just left him alive or something.
I think also
He was so
Grogu's
small.
species is
Anakin
really
fell.
rare. So he's valuable. Forget like his age and babiness.
Yeah,
I don't
Anakin
think there's
sold
a
him into
thousand of
slavery.
like a planet of his species. I think they're very rare.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So
they definitely have to be, because we've seen two 900-year-olds and
Old
one
ass,
50-year-old.
Yeah.
And no one knows the name of the species because it's probably been forgotten.
Well, perhaps like they hatch from eggs or something, and it takes forever to the egg to be ready to hatch. So it could be.
Yeah.
You never know. Maybe it takes
Mhm.
years and years and years.
Well, we never see her leave that chair. She's probably sitting on it the whole time.
I'm
Yeah.
trying. I'm trying.
That's true.
Honestly, I think the other species just comes from the Force. I think with every generation that comes and goes, they just kind of spit out a new one, just like
A new Yoda.
Oh, and Yaddle and Yoda were the same. There's two. There had to be another one then for there to be.
Well, here's the thing: us Star Wars viewers, we didn't know for decades now that there was a baby Grogu. Now we do. So who's to say there's not something else or another one now?
Mm.
I think Grogu is secretly the child of Darth Plagueis.
Okay. You think he was playing with the M words?
Oh yeah,
The
he
M
has
word.
a lot of M words inside him. We already know that.
So many M words.
Mm-hmm. But who birthed him? I guess we don't even
A
know if he is
test tube.
birthed.
He was in
Yeah.
one of those Snoke tubes. He's like, the first successful one that we've been able to blood transfuse the Force into. Is this little green fucker.
Well, speaking of that, do you guys think that what was his name, that doctor that was working on the baby?
Dr. Pershing.
Do you think he's really going to help the baby in the long run? He obviously had some sort of attachment, please don't hurt him when Din went to go get him in the last season. So I'm kind of thinking maybe he'll help the baby and help him escape.
I think he's a true man of science and doesn't want to watch the species go extinct, so he doesn't want to kill the kid. But I also think that he's a true man of science and that he won't kill it, but he'll push it to the limit to see what the hell he can get from it.
I agree with that take. Yeah.
1,000%.
Especially what he said in that little hologram thing.
It's listen, we won't take 100%, but I'll take 85.
Yeah, see, I agree.
Should have killed him. Amanda should have killed him.
Grogu, I agree.
Yeah.
He'd have a much easier life right now.
It's
true, fair, but we wouldn't have as much adventure in our life.
That's true.
Oh, and I made sure to jot down as just a little ha-ha thing. At one point, Boba makes a comment to, I think, Fennec, and he's like, this isn't a spice dream. I know what I'm looking at. And I was like, oh, okay, so my man's been just sitting in the desert playing with Tusken Raiders, smoking
He
spice all day.
definitely has been.
I mean, look at him.
Absolutely.
He looks about 105 in spice years.
Spice is a hell of a drug.
Yes, it is. Look at that man's face.
I hope
You know
Darth
what's
Talon
interesting?
shows up for Grogu. That'd be
What?
sick.
He, the
What's that?
armor fits him, and he looks a lot bigger than he used
Oh,
to be.
it didn't fit him that good.
know
boy
he's-
was sick.
Hey, he was able to get into the armor.
Yeah.
Some more defined.
I mean, he was also wearing a lot of thick padding and really thick cloaks and whatnot, so that might not have helped. But
Yeah.
I mean, it hung off of Cobb Vanth too. It was way too big for that man.
He
Yeah.
was a stick.
Mhm.
So
He was a dreamy stick.
Yeah. I did after he got the armor on, it was kind of like riding bicycle for him. I feel like immediately you can tell he knows how to operate the gadget.
Everything. The knee thing. The knee pad.
Yeah, that was
Got
cool.
out of it.
There's like Iron Man repulsor punch for that one guy in the gut.
I was like, damn, dude, it took you like 50 years to finally learn how to use this armor. Where was this when the blind guy hip checked you?
I'm glad he's back. I'm so glad I
too.
see this Boba.
I'm very happy that he's back.
I kind of hope that they, sorry, babe. I was going to say utilize the actor and bring back other people, maybe?
Yeah,
Mhm.
Rex.
I would
the
love that.
superior character.
I love him.
Though I don't see how they could play Rex into it unless they bring Ahsoka back, and I just don't feel like we're gonna get another Ahsoka shot now.
Well, Rex wasn't with Ahsoka, so he could be with Ezra and Sabine, who all show up at the end when Ezra hears the Force call.
Yeah.
You don't think she's coming back?
No, she's getting her
hope
own
she-
show. Whether it's live
I
action,
think she might
animated,
come back. I
getting her
don't
own
know,
show.
but she has a connection with Grogu now. They can talk without talking. So
Mhm.
if she
I
can,
think he should gather everyone up for the Avengers and just go storm
I hope so.
and just take Grogu back.
what if she changes her mind? And then,
Decides she wants to trade him.
or something. I don't know.
Too late. No take back.
Well, also, if she's looking for Thrawn, then, wouldn't Moff's ship be the next likely
Mhm.
maybe place to look, and Din's maybe heading there, so it could be a possibility.
Coincidence or
Yeah, like she
Plus-
also maybe senses the baby. You never know.
Plus, Bo-Katan's still looking for Gideon too, because she wants that dark saber. So it could be
Yeah.
like a big convalescence of folks all
Yeah.
coming together to take this
He's
dude
gathering
down.
his
So
team all next
realizing they
episode.
all have a common goal and being like, all right, let's take this guy out.
Mm-hmm.
That's when Mace Windu shows up and is like putting together a team.
Or that's when Thrawn shows up and be like, "Guess what? Daddy's back."
Mace Windu already put together a team. You know what happened the last time he did that.
Mm,
Yeah, they didn't coordinate correctly. Kit Fisto should have ran point on that.
it's true.
They all got one shot at it except Mace.
I will go to my grave as a Kit Fister.
We know. Oh, we know. God.
I can't believe he's recruiting Mayfeld to the Avengers. That's like getting Hawkeye.
It's worse than Hawkeye.
So why exactly?
Nothing's
does
worse
he
than
need
Hawkeye.
him?
Because he can track the ship.
Why?
can-
How?
Because he's a criminal.
Something about Springer. Did you
And he
say
was an
He
Imperial.
couldn't find like anybody else.
He was an Imperial sharpshooter, so probably the fact that he has Imperial ties and like
Okay.
knowledge of their code and their protocols and procedures or whatever would probably help them find the ship too.
Totally. I forgot about that.
I hope Bill Burr directs next episode.
Love it.
It's going to end up as one of his stand-up shows.
Yeah.
It's going to be the whole episode.
That's how he distracts them. So
Comedy
stand up
Central
for all the
presents The
stormtroopers.
Mandalorian. Yes.
But what's up with the episode being so short? I was so pissed. It was so good.
So
I felt like it was
before
very.
before the episode aired, I was like, I heard it was gonna be the shortest one of the season. I was like, that sucked. What the fuck?
Yeah.
And then I watched it and I was like, I don't mind the length because there was no like down parts. It was just on from start to
Yeah.
finish.
It was great.
Definitely.
I was just like
Ugh.
that. I kind of wired at the end.
Mhm.
Grogu's gone. And
I'd love to see,
Sorry, I just got a text message.
Sierra, based off what you said earlier about flashbacks, I'd also like to see maybe kind of inside what was going on in his mind when he was sending out his force vibes.
Yeah, that would be nice too, to see what he saw when he was meditating.
Yeah.
For all we know, he's already communicated with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
It could be.
'Cause why did
Ryan, I'm
he-
screenshotting the message I got and sending it to you, by the way. Don't read
Okay.
it on air. Continue.
I don't know. I guess I figured he was tired after that, but I kind of figured seeing 4 droids coming at you, you might do something and try to get away. Anything.
He's a baby. He couldn't get away.
I was really sad when Din was trying to tell him to like get out of it. He's like, we gotta go. He did it 3 times after getting knocked by the
Mhm.
Force.
Yeah,
shield
that was
thing.
funny.
And he was just like, and you can kind of hear the like, I don't know, the wall between them and his
Mhm.
voice, and I was just like so sad. And he
Yeah.
actually finally left, and he got out of the trance.
The Avatar state.
Yes.
I
Yes.
love that, Steve.
Great reference.
Love Avatar.
For all the references. yeah.
Love Avatar.
Is he
So
going to
hopefully
recruit?
next week's episode's good.
Is he going to
No, I
recruit the
fucking
red
love this
chiss next week, Colin?
No, Steve, come on.
The red chiss.
Everyone knows the red chests don't come until the finale.
Oh, you're right. Okay.
They are
sorry.
not a penultimate type of guy.
I'm getting ahead of myself here. I guess I'm just impatient, and I really want to see
And-
the fruits of Colin's delusional fantasies. come
My
forward.
delusional fantasies have come true because
So long-winded too.
all
You
of my
said that this would be a filler episode, Colin. It wasn't a filler episode.
yes, it
Yeah,
was. Boba Fett
agreed.
was in it.
Okay.
Oh,
Time to leave the
there we
chat.
go.
It was not.
All right, so that does it for another episode of Foundling Fridays.
Oh
Join
my
us next
God.
week for season 2, episode 7, chapter 15.
Monster.
Boba Fett is still a bitch until he beats someone besides a stormtrooper. Good day.